Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic day. And what we will share with you today is the agentic workflows that we have built within the Iris Foundry. So hopefully you will get to see something very interesting and different and maybe a bit unique. So what we will do is we will show you very high level, explain to you what the Iris Foundry is all about, because maybe perhaps some of you have already heard of Iris Foundry. If not, I implore you to go and Google that, search for Iris Foundry. It should come up with the SymphonyAI Iris Foundry right away. That will explain to you a bit what we are trying to accomplish and what we have accomplished with Iris Foundry. So we will explain what Iris Foundry is, and then we will do a more deep dive into the Iris Flows, the agentic workflow that lives within Iris Foundry, built by our team at SymphonyAI. Then we will show you some examples of agents, of possible agents that we can build, and a live demo of the system. And then at the end, we will open the floor for Q&A to answer any questions that you have. So hopefully we won't take the entire time just demoing and talking, but rather we will be able to address also some of your questions. So the people here on the webinar today from the SymphonyAI side are myself, Brian Rubin. I'm responsible for solution engineering, essentially figuring out what are the solutions that our customers need, that our partners are longing for, making sure that we have those available, and working co-innovating with our customers and our partners to bring the best AI solutions into the market in the industrial sphere. With me, we have Sudhanshu, who's our Senior Director, Head of Artificial Intelligence, Head of AI and Machine Learning. He leads a team that is responsible for model building, AI training, guardrails, etc. Go to the next page. Really briefly, maybe to describe what SymphonyAI as a whole is. If you haven't heard of us, and this is the first time that you're hearing about us, hopefully it's not the case. Hopefully you've heard about us quite a bit. But if you have never heard of us, SymphonyAI is a vertical AI company that we specialize in bringing AI to different verticals. So we have our retail CPG vertical, we have a financial services vertical, we have an industrial vertical, enterprise IT vertical. We also have a media vertical, but that is a bit of a smaller branch of our company. We have over 3,000 employees worldwide. We do have presence in the majority of countries. We have a very broad adoption among retailers for our retail and CPG solution. We have very strong partnerships with financial services organizations to identify financial crime and stuff like that. In the industrial, we are very strong in asset management, asset performance, process optimization, and anything really that you can think of within the industrial space, from warehouse management to logistics, and then moving it into that CPG world where we are capable of leveraging that cross-pollination between our verticals. So we have major brands that we work with, whether it's HBO, AMC, and our media vertical, all the way down to Pepsi and 3M and Cargill in our industrial. And of course, we have Kroger, Bank of America, Deloitte, etc. Next slide. So now when we're talking about industrial, because that's what we're here for, we're not here to talk really about retail and financial services. If you are interested in those, feel free to drop us a line. We would love to get in touch with you as well. But what we will focus on today is on our industrial capabilities. Now, I will start with the accolades, saying that we're a great team. We have a great product and a great track record. So we have a lot of great accolades, recognition from Verdantix, Frost and Sullivan, IDC, and we were selected by Microsoft to be Partner of the Year of 2024. Let's see what happens in 2025. Hopefully, we will also be selected among the top partners that Microsoft has. We've been working hard to build those relationships and build platforms that deserve such recognition. So we're very proud of those accolades. So when we're talking about the industrial AI for operational excellence, what we're looking at is really bringing the industry to what I would call Industry 5.0. So everyone knows about in Industry 4.0, where we're trying to derive meaning from all the sensor data and drive efficiency, whether it's OEE calculation, using OEE calculation or APM to optimize your enterprise. But what we are looking at is bringing us all the way to the Industry 5.0, where we're bringing the capabilities of generative AI and copilots to the manufacturing floor, to the hands of the operators, to get all this huge data that these industries are collecting and make it approachable for anyone within the organization. So what we're trying to do is transform the industrial enterprise using AI, introducing personified copilots. So it's appropriate for any persona within the industrial organization. We do have our own industrial LLM that we've trained in collaboration with Microsoft on billions of data points and tokens to ground the LLM for industrial use cases only. So rather than having a generic LLM, we have an industrial LLM that understands industrial concepts and will be able to cater to copilots specific in the industrial environment. We have already deployed it in several customers that they are giving us very high praise about these very intuitive and approachable copilots. Then we're trying to, in addition to the copilots, of course, the most important thing is that copilot needs to have intelligence. So it's not enough to just have a natural, so you go back, please. So it's not enough to have just a very intuitive language conversational interface, but rather it needs to have intelligence. So that is where we have our especially what Sudhanshu is responsible for, the ML models and the AI models that can be trained on the data, on the specific data of the customer, bringing intelligence and analytics that the copilot can use and ground those responses on the data itself. And then we have proven scale of industry leadership, where we have deployed to major organizations in many different manufacturing industries: energy, chemicals, pharma, semiconductors, food and bev, oil and gas, etc. So we are very versatile in our knowledge. Our platform is versatile and agnostic to the actual industry, and we have expertise and partners with expertise that can cater to all of these different industries. Now we can move on to the next step. So this slide shows sort of the philosophy that SymphonyAI Industrial has. So our philosophy is, rather than building an application and figuring out what is the data required for that application, we're leveraging Iris Foundry to allow us to bring in whatever data source our customers have, harmonize it, contextualize it, normalize it within the Iris Foundry to create our UDM, UNS, and contextualized form. And then using configurations, rather than duplicating the data and bringing more data in specific for an application, we can create application models that can then be used for any different purpose application, whether it's workspace, predictive analytics, manufacturing workflow intelligence, connected worker that needs to bring in data, being able to consult in data. So being able to bring the relevant data for every application from that contextualized data source that was brought into the Iris Foundry, including all those analytics, and then having on top of that, that role-based AI copilot that is specifically catered for a persona, for a specific persona to make it approachable and being able to access that contextualized data. Next slide, please. Now, moving on to what we will focus on the majority of the call today, which is we have the data sources, we've cleansed the Iris Foundry, contextualized the data, etc. Again, if you're not familiar with Iris Foundry, I implore you to go online, search for it. We do have a few videos also available on YouTube that you can look at. We will have several webinars. You can contact us for that as well. So we unify the data using the unified data model, leveraging the industrial LLM to help us unify the data. We have these performance graphs and knowledge graphs that give us a visual representation of our data and our organizations that helps us to figure out what analytics we can build. But what we will focus on today is more on the right, which is the Iris Flows. On top of it, we have the Iris Forge. We will be doing a webinar on Iris Forge in the next few weeks, I believe. Just to touch on that briefly. So Iris Forge is a generative AI platform that allows us to generate applications directly within Foundry, leveraging all of the tools that are available within Foundry, all the analytics, the data, the contextualized data, etc., using MCP technology, MCP servers, and MCP clients to bring in the data, understanding what data is available, what kind of tools are available that were built, what kind of agents are available, and then build a particular application for the particular use case. Within Forge, we can also build agents, as it were. We can also build mobile applications. So it's a very flexible system that we've developed and launched a few weeks back. Now, within the Iris Flows, this is where the focus of this webinar is. This is where we have agent, and everything in the world today is talking about agentic AI, because we understand you have generative AI, you have ChatGPT or whatever. If you've ever used ChatGPT, hopefully you are familiar with it, because that's the world of today. When ChatGPT came out, it was a very conversational platform where you can ask questions and it's going to give you answers. The problem with that, of course, is hallucinations and irrelevant data, and not being able to execute anything that you wanted to do, right? So slowly the generative AI capabilities have improved and enhanced to reduce a bit of the hallucinations and add function calls and stuff like that. But what the generative AI community have found is that it's not sufficient to just have a conversational AI and let's say function calls that the AI can call, but rather you need agents that can be reused for particular use cases. So, for example, we have our manufacturing agents if you want to repeat a particular process in an AI form. So, for example, you get an alert in your system based off of the data that you have. Now you want to do something with that alert. How do you make sure that the user, the end user, the operator that needs to service this alert gets notified? How do you make sure that the notification gives relevant data? How do you make sure that the operator at the end of the line actually fulfilled what was supposed to be done? So that's where you have an agent that needs to be flexible. So it needs to use generative AI, because if you have a very rigid agent, then it may break depending if the workflow is slightly different. Whereas with generative AI agents, with these agentic AI agents, you can have different paths and different configurations that's a bit more flexible in the handling of the process. So we have built several agents that we will discuss in a moment within Iris Flows that you can reuse and modify to bring quick agents directly into your system. Let's move to the next slide. So essentially, the Iris Flows, what does it give you? It gives you an graphical, low-code, or even most of the time, no-code, easy to use flow builder, where it's a drag and drop. You just select the node that you want to incorporate within your agent. You drag it, you drop it on your canvas, you connect it to whatever node you want. You create those relationships, whether it's a loop or straightforwards, whether it's a if statement, conditional statement, go to this node rather than that node. Very, very easy to use, drag and drop, and very easy to use configurable. There's a scalable agentic automation, allowing you to see as you are modifying your agent flow or the connection of the different agents and the different nodes that you have. So you can have an agent of agents or an agentic workflow using sub-agents that you can then have an automation where you can visualize the output of the full system. This empowers every user. Of course, we do have governance in the Iris Foundry, giving the capabilities of restricting who has rights to modify agents, who has rights to modify flows, who has rights to create flows, who can only view it, etc. Because we understand sometimes you don't want everyone to do it. However, because it's so approachable and so simple, it empowers every user to build their own agents that are relevant for them. It's seamless. There's a seamless integration of the agentic workflows to the Iris Foundry, allowing you to enjoy all that contextualized data that you've brought into Iris Foundry, all of the analytics that you've built within Iris Foundry, leverage the industrial LLM wherever it is, that can enhance the data. So a full input and output of data if you want it, so it can augment the data as well. And then this is also open and extensible. Everything is leveraging APIs and again using MCP servers and tools, MCP servers and clients to be able to easily enhance and expand it. So if, for example, there's a node that a customer wants, but we don't have it, they can build it themselves, or we can enable them to build it on our side, whatever is needed. So it's very scalable. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we have over 300 agents that we've already pre-built. These you can take as templates that allow our customers and partners to hit the ground running, as it were, to take those templates and augment them, modify them, or even use them as is. So some of the agents that we have are, for example, alert deep resource. So what I described before, where you get an alert and you want someone to take action on it, but they need information. So we have a deep research on the alert to go and fetch data from troubleshooting manuals, user guides, past history of how this type of alert was handled, and then it gives you a full picture rather than just getting an alert saying something is wrong with this particular temperature gauge or this particular pump or centrifugal pump or centrifuge. Boiler cleaning schedule. So if you have a scheduler, again, you get an alert telling you that you need to do some maintenance. Now you need some smart scheduling to know who is available to do this work, who has the certification to do the work. Operator shifts, similar thing. So these are some examples of industrial agents that we have. You can go to our website and see a list of a few more examples. We probably aren't listing all 300 of plus that we have of the template. So if you have an agent that you need or you think would be a good idea, hit us up and we will be glad to discuss how that agent, if we have that agent, if not, how that can be built, etc. And now Without further ado, I'll pass the baton over to Sudhanshu, who will give you a quick demo of the application of the Iris Flows.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Sudhanshu here. And Brian explained about Iris Flows, that is, it is UI-based agentic AI flow builder. And I'm going to take you a quick demo how it looks, how these industrial agents looks on our product, and also how we can deploy them and put into operation, as well as we can build new ones. So very briefly, next 15 minutes, I'll be walking you through our Iris Flow product. So currently you see on the screen our Iris platform. So if you have not seen before, this is what Brian was talking about, that we do have full-fledged data ops, ML ops platform where we can bring data from different industrial sources, contextualize that data, and then we can do advanced analytics, modeling, AI modeling on that data to bring insights and solve industrial problems. So today topic is flows, Iris flows. So we are going to go deep dive and look into that, how it looks and how we can build these no code AI agentic systems. So here we go into Iris flows and we see different kind of projects has been already mentioned. So I'll go and then get inside one of the project, and then look into that different industrial agents already being developed and shown here. So as you can see that many of these agents are available. And Brian talked about the one alert deep research agent, which can go and then fetch you a lot of information about that alert by after looking into multiple data sources, multiple information on the Iris Foundry, and give you a comprehensive report correlating all the data and bringing very, very useful insights so you can understand that what that alert is about. So this, I will just go through this example to explain that how this whole system works. So once I click on this flow canvas, it will load our canvas where this particular flow will be showing up. And you can see here in this area, we have this flow that is alert deep research has been built, and you can see all the components here. But what is more important here that we do have pre-built nodes or tools available here, which can help you to build new agents very quickly without writing a line of code. And I just want to go through very quickly. So you can see that we do have big data nodes, which can help you work with a large amount of data, process it within the flow system. Many of these AI nodes with all these different LLMs and data quality, data analysis, and all available out of box, which can be used to build the flows. Similarly, many of the data parsing, data processing kind of nodes available here, and and many logical nodes too, where you want to put certain conditions, you want to wait, execute certain thing. Also, there's a custom code. So if you really want to do something very custom, you can write your own node and you can reuse it. So these custom nodes can be promoted as subflows, and that can be used into again and again as a template. So it can be expedite the new agent building. And this list, what you're seeing is expanding very quickly. So we are adding more and more nodes as we go. Every month we are adding hundreds of these nodes and making it available. So we are going to have huge library of these pre-built nodes and agents which can be reused to accelerate the agent building process and for industrial segment. So now we'll go a little bit into these flows. So what you see here that different steps which is being shown, and you can get into these steps and you will be able to see that how we can very easily bring the industrial LLM here. And many of the LLM parameters also you can modify when you are building. So a lot of control over what you can do and iterate on these, right? So you can write different prompts, how you want to make it work. So all these kind of steps is very much customizable, easy to use without code, without any coding. So that's the true beauty of this particular flow agent building system, what we have here. So how do we make it run? So let me do a run of this particular agent, what we have here. So you go into this run and just it's asking one input, that is which alert I should analyze. So here I'm giving one alert which is already present on the iris foundry, this particular instance, and asking this particular agent to go and analyze this alert in very deep and prepare a report, send that report to a concerned person. That's what it's going to do. So once I hit run, it start running these nodes. As you can see that these nodes are running one by one. And this is doing a lot of work. So it's going to take maybe a minute or two to finish. But I do have certain runs done in the past, and I will just very quickly go over to show that what it does. So as you can see that the different sequence what we have here, it's executing all those, and that many of them involves the LLMs in between. So LLMs are making those decisions that what to do based on what you get in previous conditions. So nothing is kind of a hard coded that you are. It's following a very predetermined path, but LLMs are trying to find that if there is some problem, then should I go and get sensor fault alert? I should get fetch the data. I look into the correlation of the data which is causing alerts. All those kind of analysis it's doing. And also, if you click on these, you'll be able to see all the details what is happening underneath. So it gives full traceability that how these agents are working. So it's not a black box. So unlike other tools, what you see that agent is doing something, you don't know what it is doing. But here we provide like full traceability that every steps what is happening, you can see what agent is doing, how it's fetching information, how it's constructing information, and then giving you the results. So that's the true beauty of this. So it's not complete black box. You are doing everything without code, but also you are in control what is happening here. So once it runs completely, so this still this one is running, but once this run is complete, it sends an email something like I'll very quickly I will show you how that is look like. So you see that this email I just run some time back, the previous one I was talking about. It will send me that this is analysis of this alert 64, and here is the report. And I go to this report, and if you look at it's giving me very much detail that what really caused this alert, also giving which are the parameters which cause this alert, and then also giving me a chart of all those parameters. You could see that this is the alert time, that is the red line what you are able to see, and the previous value and next value what is happening. So you can really understand that the parameters which are causing this particular alert, how they are behaving, and this is all coming through a multivariate AI model analysis, which is giving these results. And also, it's not stopping there, but looking into these sensors, whether there is any sensor fault in these sensors, because sometimes you get a false alert when sensor is not working well, and that is not a real problem on your machine or process, but it is just a sensor is not working well, and you are getting an anomaly and problem in AI model. So it's going and looking into all those contributors, parameters, sensor fault is analyzing and looking into that. No, there is no sensor fault to determine that all those contributors, there is no sensor fault. And after that, it's also analyzing and trying to give a very detailed that what really happening before and after alert of those contributor parameters. and giving very much insights about that. There's a sharp increase, there's gradual increase, there's a steady rise. So what it's saying that there is a significant and sustained increase in sensor readings for all those contributing parameters when this alert happened. So something is real here. That's what it's trying to allude. And this is all the LLM is doing. And this is done through a lot of data analysis, bringing data from different sources, analyzing, correlating, and looking into it. So it's correlating. There's a high correlation. There's no sensor fault, and then finally it comes and then gives a recommendation that it's substantially genuine alert. So definitely you should go look into it. This is something going wrong with this particular machine. And if the situation would have been that it found that this is happening because of a sensor is not working well, then it will tell you that, oh, this is a sensor problem, probably this is a false alert, just go look at this particular sensor. So that's the beauty of the agentic system. They're working like a human. So if you just consider that this much analysis a human has to be done for one alert, it will take at least half a day to pull all the data, put it together, analyze it, and then prepare put all the information in context, and then analyze and understand that really what is going on. But it does in 2 minutes of time. Whatever alert happens, analyzes, sends the report to a concerned person, and then also there's a subsequent part of it. That particular agent is now waiting. I can just reply to that email saying that, look, this is a very serious problem. Please assign to someone in my team, and I can mention that person name. And then the agent will go and assign that alert to the particular person, and it will continue like that. So this is one example. What I wanted to highlight how these agents works, and in action, and then and they can be used. So now question comes that since I just run for demonstration purpose by giving that, oh, you run this alert 64, but in reality how they are going to work, and we do have a full deployment process here, which allows us to deploy these agents into production. So I'll show you how it does look like. So if I go to this deployment section, I'm able to see that many of these agents are already deployed, right? So and when it is deployed, then I click on these, I'll be able to see a API endpoint, and the API endpoint is giving you an API key. Once you have these two available, you can exercise these agents from anywhere. You don't have to be on the Iris, but even from outside Iris also, you can exercise these agents and then provide that information from a UI or API call, and then it will work. And also, you might see here that there is a different kind of deployment, which is we call it like scheduling. So some of these we don't want to call on demand, because the one like I were talking about alert, it is always on demand because alert is not happening on a very fixed period. It will happen once in a while, and when it happens, you want to trigger that agent to do the analysis. So it's a kind of on demand, and that's where this whole API approach we can take. But some of it could be very much on a scheduled fashion. So, for example, you want to do preventive maintenance in your plant, and say you have a boiler and you want to clean it, say monthly basis, and you can schedule an alert, and what it will do, schedule an agent that every month, a particular day, particular time, generate an alert, give me all the information about this asset, how it was behaving last few weeks or month, and then assign it to a person who has to do that particular maintenance. So that agent will do that entire task on very much on the clock. So whenever every month on 13th, a particular time, this will get triggered automatically, and then it will create that alert, send that notification, send all the information required to do that particular maintenance activity. So that's the scheduled kind of deployments. Now comes these subflows. So subflows are basically reusability of these agents. So we build one agent, but we cannot do like keep building again and again very similar things. So And also we want to like a multi-agent system where there is a one agent talking to another agent, and multiple agents working in combination to give you a very complex task. And that's where this comes into picture. So you can have a subflow, which will be like this whole flow what we have built for deep research becomes kind of one node and one big agent. Now you build a similar other agents and then plug them together, you join them together to have very complex agentic system which can do very complex tasks. And one example could be like you do this deep research agent which is doing analysis and giving you information that look, these are the details, and uh, next agent could be that go and retrain the model because the alert which was generated was a false alert, and we want to give that data back to the model to make the retrain the model so it can become better and those false alerts goes away in future. So these are like two different agents, and then you can combine them together, and they can work in conjunction of each other, taking inputs, passing information to each other. So you can retrain a model without any human intervention. Just a user can just send an email instruction that go ahead and retrain the model, deploy the model. So those kind of complex workflows are possible too. And templates are basically the reusability part. So, for example, say asset preventive maintenance I was talking about. So you do it for one asset, you want to do for another asset. You're not going to do whole flow building again, but you just use the template. And you can preview what it is and then just use into template and modify the asset name and certain input information, and then you're good to go. You can reuse this and do in detail. A resources section allows us to add a lot of information, data, whatever we want. So these agents and flows will have a knowledge base and data and information, so we can supply all this kind of information there. Now, coming to the last part, w- how do we build a new flow? So I'll do very quick kind of a demo how we can drag, drop, and build a new one. So here you need to, and this system can do many kind of things. You can do data pipeline, ML pipeline, Copilot, and all. But here we are like agentic workflow, and I'll select agentic workflow, and it's giving me all the templates what we have. Do you want to use those templates? So it's very easy to replicate what we have already done, but I'm going to do completely new. And then I will say that give a workflow name and description if you want, and then go and then create a canvas. So here it's empty canvas what we are getting, and then here if you look at all these nodes what we had, and always we do like a start node, right? So let me get one start node from here, and and you can also search, right? For example, this is too many nodes here, and you are not able to find, then you can just simply search. So end node here, right? So I have end node. So always these are two you need to start with one and end with one. And in between, you can start adding more of LLM and related LLM tools, right? So that node I'm bringing up here. Once you have these on the canvas, right? So you see here, we do have say these kind of dots. You go there and then just drag it and connect them. So basically, that's how you are building the flow. So again, you can come to this point and then look into this particular point here, right? Let me zoom a little bit, and then you can connect it. So that's how you do connect these different tools and all. And then after that, you can start building, adding, say, system variables, what kind of inputs you want to give. You go to LLM, then you get which LLM you want to choose. And all these LLMs, what we have is available here. You can choose between them, and we are adding more and more information. You can provide your system instruction, user instruction, and other details, what you want to do. And then you can start building these kind of applications very quickly. And once you complete the building part, since I have shown you example, how do we deploy it? or some example of deployed or scheduled ones, the whole deployment part is very easy. For example, say I go here in this canvas, and then I want to deploy it once I'm ready. Um, and then I have to just create a version. Also, we do have version control, so we can have multiple version of it. I can create one more version by going here, and then I can create a new deployment. And it's as simple as that. You can just go and give like this is alarm management new deployment, right? Just I'm giving some name, and then you have option here like either it's on demand. So on demand, then you are going to have endpoint API key, and also it's giving you like if you want to call it, what will be your call. But also you can choose to make it a schedule. So then you can select that how it should run, what interval it should run, right? So suppose I want to do it on demand, that is API way. I can go and then simply say that finish deployment, and its deployment is done. So its deployment is done successfully. And once I go in here and look into the deployments, you see just now I have done this deployment, and you have all the API details and information available to you, which you can use. So it's as easy as that. Once you complete the flow building part, deployments happens very quickly.